We already have 1 million things to do. Times that by 10, and that's literally how much stuff we have to do this week. 10 million things. Something's a little different. Can't put my finger on it. All right, we gotta get this cab back off because as you guys may or may not have noticed, most of you probably didn't notice, but some of you did. The underside of this cab is white. So with the help of our new Challenger lifts, CL16, we're gonna lift this cab off and we're gonna undercoat that. That's what we're gonna do. And you're gonna watch, and you're gonna love it, and Dinner's gonna film it.
Yep, I'm gonna film it. It's dinner time.
We're gonna get the frame out of the way, and then we're gonna get the underside all prepped up, get it all masked, and undercoat the underside. Mainly it's for protection and to hide the white, because this white cab is now red. We're gonna go jack it through here and just put it in the other stall.
Look at that.
Look at it. Perfect. Hillbilly, the reason he's not been in any videos is because he goes deer hunting. Yeah, he's been chasing deer. So he comes in at 10 o'clock in the morning and leaves at 3 in the afternoon and won't even freaking work.
No, I've been coming in at 8:30.
All right, so we got this cab up. The shirt's right there. Rag shirts, whatever, you know, to protect the cab. So we're gonna sand it, mask it, and then we'll bring you back to undercoat it.
All right, so we've been polishing for another 25,000 hours. Me and Cody sanded all around the windows, and I stayed here till 2 o'clock in the morning last night. And we got it all polished up from here up all the way around the front. It's polished. So Heath from Clearside Auto Glass is here. He just put the back window in, so we've got the brand new tempered 3/16 glass that was custom made for the Golden Nugget. He's getting the side windows, and then he's gonna put the windshield back in it. We're gonna have this all sealed back up in time for SEMA. So I think we're gonna make it. Hillbilly came in early this morning after he went deer hunting. Did you get a deer?
Nope.
Another swing and a miss. He came in, got these all degreased, pressure washed them outside. Now he's changing the seals in the transfer case, the transmission, and then we're gonna marry them together and bolt them to the little baby 4.3 V6. All right, so Cody's gonna be working on the underside of the cab. He's gonna get our brand new Challenger lift all masked up because we don't want speckles all over that, especially where it's new. And then we'll spray it. Meanwhile, I gotta polish the Golden Nugget because we finally have it sanded. After 587,000 hours this week, me and Cody got that whole thing sanded. So our buddy Jeff Carter from Carter's Custom Upholstery down in Cedar City got the headliner all reupholstered, the headrests, the seat, and the visors. And they look dang good. I'm going to buff.
Now that I've spent the last 4 hours looking for the seal pounder set, I'm gonna get the seal pounded in. As you can see, I have it on backwards. There ain't a right size in this kit for this seal. Gotta do it upside down. It's about there. Right there. Now, as you can see, it's flush. So I gotta put some RTV on this part, still to the transfer case, and the oil leaks out. And then I take my finger, get it wet so it doesn't stick to your finger, smear it evenly all the way around. And this is the last seal on the transfer case, and then I'll do the seal on the tranny. The seals on the tranny. Now I'll move to the tranny.
Gonna make the bottom of this truck look better.
It'll sound deaden it, help rust proof it, corrosion protect it, all that, all in one. Get it masked up, go through, hit some touch up spots, pre-clean it, and go to town.
Glad it's getting a new one, the slave cylinder for the clutch, because that one's pretty close to having it. I'm taking this front cover off so I can replace the front seal. That seal right there.
It's probably never been changed.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So this is the super critical part. All the parts are critical, but this is where you refine your scratches. Aside from just buffing, you have to be like a contortionist. By the way, microfibers from the rag company are probably the best microfibers I've ever used in my entire life. Just saying. Anyway, so what you do is once you get that off, you place your rag back on your rag holder and you look and you drag the light across it and check for scratches. And I can see some really fine scratching right there. A little bit right here. That's just residue. Right, that's gone magically. I'm just dragging my speck of light all across where I've buffed. This is where experience comes into play. You gotta know what you're looking for. All right, so I just have a little bit through here that I can see the scratching. So I'm gonna hit it just one more time with the mini 3-inch. And this section will be not done, but sort of done, just slightly done.
Hey Robby,
Yo.
you almost got it to where when you cry for hours and do your makeup 3 times, you could have a mirror to do it.
I've been crying for hours. Had to polish my golden nugget 3 times.
Are you fighting that?
This one's being a pain. Go.
You
You
got
can
it.
see, it didn't want to come out. It's all chewed up from trying to get it out. Holy cow.
I bet you it was in there since 1997.
It didn't want to come out, however long it was in there.
Homemade paint booth. I don't need all the overspray flying off, hitting the door, hitting the lift, or anything like that.
Getting ready to install the new seal.
Tap, 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 tap. Ta-da.
And when we put this back on, we got to make sure we have it in right.
And it only goes one way?
Well, it can go multiple ways, but only one way is the right way.
Only one way is the right way.
I don't know if you guys can see, there's a groove right there. In here, you got all your bolt holes, and then one hole right there, which is an oil hole. So that way it goes onto the bearing. So you gotta line up that groove with the oil hole.
And ta-da.
Hillbilly's just down on the ground playing with those balls. He's gonna repack all the bearing balls with grease because we can't get a throwout bearing. I'm gonna head over to Napa, get us a slave cylinder. He's playing with the bearing balls, gonna repack them with grease, whatever. He's not gonna lose any of these bearings, because if he does, we're totally screwed. I will be back.
Okay, we got our makeshift paint booth on here to keep the hoist from getting covered in bed liner, undercoating. So we got this done. All we got left to do is go through, hit some touch-up spots, pre-clean it, and then we're ready to shoot.
Your makeshift paint booth is missing a door.
We'll have our hand mask, man.
Hillbilly went to some great lengths repacking this bearing. Guess what? Voila! The new one came with a new bearing. So now we're super happy. So the slave cylinder is gonna go right in. We don't need the old one, and we don't need the old bearing. Sorry, that was a little dramatic. It's lunchtime, so I'm gonna go eat, and Hillbilly's gonna continue working.
Brand new. Get the slave cylinder installed, and then I'm going to clean the bolts for the bell housing and for the transfer case so I can get it all married up to the motor. So I'm gonna spray these up. Can't be putting greasy, oily bolts into a new sprayed, clean transmission transfer case. Pain's real when you're spraying them and it gets into a cut. So now I'm going to pull the front output shaft yoke off to replace that seal, and then all the seals are done and I can marry the transfer case to the
I thought you said the transfer case was done.
majority of it was. And that, sir, is a yoke. Now let's see if I can get this one off without it fighting me. I think it moving. Ow! Mommy!
You're not supposed to pinch yourself.
You think it was on purpose?
Yeah?
No. Because how am I supposed to shoot my deer now?
You'll be okay.
This one doesn't want to come out either. Why doesn't it not want to come out, Ty?
It's been in there since 1997. Oh, there you go.
10 hours later, and that seal's finally out. Now I'm installing it. Ow! Finally got it to start.
It goes in a lot easier than it comes out, huh?
I don't know, it's still a pain. I think this yoke is made by Briggs & Stratton. It has the Briggs & Stratton emblem.
Now it's done?
I think let's go in there now.
Okay, we got to do a little touch up to the Rokon trailer. Sitting down there in the sun with this old wood, it was starting to kill it. You can see the failing up there in certain spots, like on the knots and around the cracks that give it the patina on the wood. It was failing, so we're going to buzz this down with 80 grit, and Robby's brother is going to come in, I think, with some type of epoxy UV clear or something. This will be able to withstand the heat and the sun down there in the south end of the state.
Now we got to bolt the transfer case up to the transmission. We're one step closer to having it so we can put it on the frame.
I know, I'm excited. It's gonna be awesome. Hear it run again.
Second to last one. I got one more bolt left that's on the very bottom, and there's no way to get the wrench on it until it's lifted up. And I don't think dinner feels like hold up the tail shaft while I do it. Now got to do the clutch and pressure plate.
All right, so I'm moving on. I got the door all rubbed out. Now I've got to do the fender and this cowl panel. This is what you have to do when you have an emotionally upset 4-year-old. The baby boss is not happy right now.
Now I'm going to pop out the carrier bearing. No, carrier bearing's on the driveline. The bearing that sits in the back of the
Block.
crankshaft. That was not even a bearing. It's a bushing. Ta-da, it's in place.
Ta-da, that's good.
Okay, next step. Just kidding, I still gotta press it in, so I'll grab the hammer, seal press, and tap it in. Dong! Okay, so now I'm gonna put the clutch and pressure plate on. This side always goes to the flywheel. When I first started doing mechanic work, when I was very young, I put it in backwards, and my dad crawled under there to check to make sure I was doing it right. Pressure plate wouldn't line up perfect to flywheel like it's supposed to. So I had to take it all back apart, redo it. And once I start tightening these all these bolts down, you'll watch these fingers start to come out. Make sure you pull that out because it's a tool that's commonly forgotten to get pulled out. You're fighting to get that tranny in place and it won't slide in, so you pull it back out, put it on the ground to reach your hand up to find this in there. It is a very well forgotten tool to pull out, so remember to pull it out when you're done. Now we'll get this motor turned around, get the bolts cleaned for the bell housing. We'll slide the tranny and transfer case over and bolt it up. And we'll give this to Ty to put in his toolbox so he could have it for his truck.
So is this way easier than doing it when it's in the vehicle?
We're about to find out.
We're almost there. I'm out of breath. Okay, it's almost all the way seated, so I'll finish bolting this up and then we'll bring you back once it's done.
All right, so we got the entire driver's side first step finished. I'm gonna get the hood all one stepped. Then I'm gonna go back over and do the second and third process. Ooh. On the hood and on the driver's side. So we got the motor training transfer case ready to go in Aiden's truck. Undercoat's ready to go on the underside of the cab. Epoxy's ready to go on the trailer. Lunch is almost ready. Lincoln's being half decent right now. Oh, huh? Lincoln's being decent. He's out of control. Wild child. Hillbilly's slinging a camera for the first time in his life.
No, it's just I don't do it very often because they suck at it.
That is true. All right, so we've got the hood all cut in the first step, but we're hungry. Big Dinner's family came down and they've cooked us lunch. So we're gonna go eat some lunch real quick and get back to finishing up this polish.
Isn't that mama dinner?
That would be mama dinner. Should be mama lunch.
So we're going to put another 8 ounces of this hardener. It's a 1-to-1 ratio.
You can see it.
It's like oil and water, man. Okay, we got the epoxy and the hardener in here. We're going to mix it, and we're going to be pouring it on here. Robby's brother said, nope, you guys do it. I'm out of here. We'll pour some on and brush it out. It'll set overnight. We'll unmask it, attach it to the back of the Nugget, and load it in the trailer and head to SEMA.
Whoa, that's enough to do the whole trailer.
This will give it better coating for the weather and the elements down in St. George, as hot as it gets.
You can see air bubbles
I noticed that.
from it going into the cracks and the air coming out. It's like honey.
Yeah, dude, it's like honey molasses.
The only time I ever seen molasses was in North Dakota in the dead of winter.
Yeah, it's probably like tar.
It was like a block because farmers out there, they buy it with a 55-gallon drum. They cut like, I want to say about that bottom line, how it has the 2 ribs.
Yeah.
They cut it there and fill it full of molasses, and that's how they buy how you buy it.
Charlie horse?
Cramp.
Okay.
Now just let it do its thing. Yeah, we'll have to hit it with the brush before the work time's up.
All right, so I just got back from Ace Hardware. They ended up being able to use 1 full kit on this wood. Now he's just grooming himself. Billy's so sad to be here. He just wants to be out on the mountains, deer hunting, but he can do that tomorrow because we got the SEMA stuff to get done. The St. George sun is just brutal. We sanded it, applied the epoxy on it, and this should hold up a little bit better. And it's gonna look great at SEMA. Oh, and we gotta install the motor in Aiden's truck, custom build some motor mounts. We'll explain why in a little bit. And we're gonna undercoat the underside of the cab. First things first, they're gonna get this finished. I'm gonna go finish the hood on the Nugget, and I want to pull it outside and see what it looks like, and then we'll do all the other stuff that we're supposed to do. Oh, that's overwhelming.
It's like working concrete. This winch rope protector doohickey is Badland. We're taking that one off. We're putting Yankum ropes one on.
Fair lead.
A what?
It's a fair lead.
Step number 2, 25 hours later.
So as you can see, I'm jacking up the back part of the Nugget. I don't know if something might have happened when they were down at the gold mine with it or what, but when we was pulling it in, we noticed that one of the brakes is dragging, so we're going to tear it apart and see what might be going on with it. Maybe it might have some gold dust, chunks of gold in it. Who knows? There's a nugget. I'm keeping it.
No, you're not.
If I find it, it's finders, keepers, losers, sweepers.
Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. Not sweepers.
It's sweepers because I found it, so I'm sweeping it right into my pocket.
Weepers, because you're going to cry out of your weepers.
I won't tell them it's there. I'll just put it in my pocket and save a piece of dust. Ruh-roh. I may have to go get rid of a mallet. Holy cow.
We're a little bit on the struggle bus. We're not sure if we did these correctly when we put them together or not, or if they've been messed with. We have no idea. We have Matt's Samurai here, so we're gonna go pull that thing in and pull it apart and just check the brakes to see if they're the same. We think we might have something backwards in here that it's actually holding the brakes instead of releasing them. Hillbilly is gonna go out back, pull that thing in, and pull the brakes off of it, and let's check it out. Hey, there's just some new tires for the old Bronx Star.
Yeah, because Matt doesn't run BFGs. He ain't cool.
They're about 6 inches too small.
That's like 2 sizes too small.
NASCAR.
Did you know in NASCAR the lug nuts are silicones to the rim, so they can just. They must have at least 100 set of lug nuts.
And when they take them off, they just let them scatter.
Oh my gosh.
It's got spacers. Wow. Same parts?
No.
Oh.
All right, we got the Raptor protective coating mixed up. You got to put the hardener in it, shake it for 2 minutes. Then I'll throw my head cover on, my respirator, and we will get this baby covered. Another step closer to getting the cab on. Okay, we are ready to spray this. That's why I got the lovely fashion statement on. Dinner and Hillbillies talking crap about. I'm for function, not fashion at the moment. Because I don't even want to know what this is like to shave off my bald head, so.
It's probably dead. Probably hurt.
Dinner will just stand back and show you because this does get a little bit messy spraying it.
All right, so Cody's getting this thing all undercoated. It is looking awesome. Gonna give it all the protection that it needs, and it's gonna get rid of the white. We're getting 2 for 1 on this one. Hillbilly got the brakes all figured out, so let's go check that stuff out. I think he's even got it all fixed. All right, so what had happened is when we originally put these in, we put these upside down. So luckily we had the Samurai, took a look at it, realized they were upside down. They're on the wrong side. So Hillbilly's got that reinstalled. So now it's gonna work properly. We're gonna put the brake back on, and this brake will quit dragging.
Cross your fingers.
At least it's back so we can fix it. So Hillbilly's gonna get this all put together, and I wanna look at that hood outside. All right, so I like to take stuff outside and look at it in the sun, because when you get inside, you get super hyper focused on stuff, thinking that I had it screwed up. So I like to bring it out and just verify that I'm not totally screwed up. I think this is turning out pretty dang good. Dinner claims that he can see me in the hood. It's like a little mirror. It's almost like we're polishing something for the SEMA show. So I'm gonna take my stamp of approval and I'm gonna, done, on the hood. There's so much more to do. The hood is a big step. Let's get this hood back inside. Let's get the rest of the Nugget polished. We'll get those brakes back on. We'll get that Samurai out of my shop.
Got them all back together. The other side has a tie and everything back on it. I just got to finish putting these 4 nuts that holds the drum to the axles shaft on, and then put the lug nuts on it, or the tire on and the lug nuts on, and this side's done too.
That spins a little bit better.
Since I'm lazy, I decided to do the hard thing and pull the bolt out of this so that I can buff under it so I don't burn the edge off. Now I'm just putting the bolts back in because I got it all buffed around it. Trying to not drop the washer and the nut in the drain.
Yeah, don't do that.
Cody already did that.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, once.
Did I take the drain off?
Yep. I can just hold the backs with my fingers. These are so tiny. Turned out freaking awesome. Look at that. No more white on this cab. Underneath, at least. Cody shot that all. It turned out awesome. It's drying up. We'll let it cure out probably for a week because we're going to SEMA, so we won't be here. By the time we get back, it'll be all cured out. Hopefully by then, we'll be able to throw it on the frame and really see this truck start to come together. We're gonna leave it all masked up, just let it sit overnight. So Hillbilly's got the motor, tranny, and transfer case together. Now, we gotta go see what his big holdup is, because he didn't have it put in yet.
No motor mounts.
I bought motor mounts and I bought a new tranny mount.
Well, I got the tranny mount, but if you would have bought the OEM original motor mounts, they'd work. But then these new aftermarket ones are totally different. They won't work.
I tried. I called GM. I checked GM Vintage. Nobody had anything.
Did you check Napa?
Yeah, Napa can't get them. Yeah, I bought them from CarQuest. These aren't even remotely the same.
No, holes don't line up at all.
Come check this out, Dinner. Has anybody seen this with a 97 Chevy K1500 with a V6 4.3? These motor mounts are not even close. All right, so that makes it a humongous disaster. There's no way we can get this put in tonight. It's Saturday night. We leave tomorrow to head to the SEMA show. Don't forget, we're gonna be in the Prismatic Powders booth in Central Hall. If you guys are at the SEMA show, come check it out. We're all gonna be there on Wednesday at 1 p.m. in the Prismatic Powders booth. Me, Cody, Big Dinner, Hillbilly, the whole crew. The boss is gonna be there. Matt's gonna be there. I have confirmation that Ed himself is gonna be at the Golden Nugget in Central Hall. So if you guys want to meet an awesome crew, check us out at the Prismatic Powders booth, Central Hall at the SEMA Show 2022. Be there or be square.
We'll have to deal with it after SEMA.
Unfortunately, we've got to get the Golden Nugget done. So that's kind of why I've been working on it, bouncing back and forth. But this is going to take hours to rebuild these. I did a bunch of research. These are the only motor mounts that they even offer for this V6, and they're totally wrong. I might check a wrecking yard, see if they've got some good usable used ones. If not, we're gonna have to modify it. We're gonna have to cut this one apart and try to weld it on here and try to get those bolt holes to line up. We'll figure it out, promise you, just not tonight. Let's go check out that trailer that Cody re-epoxied. This is looking awesome. It's getting tacky, so it's drying up. Has to sit for 12 hours before we can touch it, except if your name is Riker. My 10-year-old son put his finger in the epoxy that's wet. Why's your fingerprint in the trailer?
I touched it.
Why did you touch it?
It was shiny.
Little kids. Touching shiny things. So we're making awesome progress. The hood is the only thing that is polished and done on the Golden Nugget. And it is 8:30 p.m. the night before we leave, the night before we drop this video. And we're all here.
Okay, Dinner, I have a joke for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's a ghost's favorite dessert?
What's a ghost's favorite dessert?
Ice cream.
Ice cream!
Where did monsters buy cookies?
At the store?
No.
Oh, where?
Ghoul Stouts.
Ghoul Stouts.
Adley, I have a joke for you. What do you call somebody that steps on a frosted flake?
I don't know.
A serial killer!
Food's ready.
Is it really?
Yep.
Dinner's ready, dinner?
Dinner is ready.
Here's open now.
Is it good?
I'd give it an 8.
Pretty solid.
Woo! Don't do that. It's late.
Scared the crap out of me.
But at least it kicked it away from the panel.
You right?
Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Well, just about got the first pass all the way around. The second pass and third pass are gonna be super quick.
Hey, Robby.
Yo.
It's after midnight. Guess what time it is? After hours with Dinner and Robby.
Dun 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 dun. Bing. After hours with Dinner and Robby.
I'm gonna start it off with the knock knock joke. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Scold.
Scold who?
Scold outside. Let me in.
So it's scold. I can't breathe.
Want another one?
Nice. Yeah, let's hear another one.
Okay. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Hatch.
Hatch who?
Bless you. That was a good one. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Water.
Water who?
What are you doing telling jokes right now? Don't you have things to do?
Yeah, back to work. Back to the bus.
Knock knock. Who's there? Hawaii? Hawaii who? I'm good, Hawaii you. So, let's kind of get into a story a little bit. Well, I guess it's not really a story, but I can tell you how excited I am to go to SEMA. First off, it's exciting to have a project there that we worked on. That's really exciting. Another one is all the people we're gonna meet.
That's always exciting.
I love meeting people. It keeps a smile on your face. It keeps you happy. I hope I get to see all you at SEMA. What do you think, Robby?
I think if this could just polish itself, I'd be much, much happier.
Anything else you got to say? Or?
Yeah, give me a minute and I'll tell you. I got a cool story to tell you guys about when I was a kid.
Okay.
I finally have the first pass all the way around. Every single inch of the Nugget is cut. What that means is I used my wool pad on a rotary buffer, and I used my first step, which is a heavy cutting compound. So I've heavy cut everything. Now what I gotta do is I'm gonna take a dual action Rupes 21 millimeter throw dual action buffer, and I'm gonna hit it with my second step. It's gonna be an orange medium cut pad with medium cut compound. I'm gonna go over the entire thing. It's gonna be a lot quicker than what the first stage is, because the first stage I'm cutting scratches. Second one is kind of just refining those scratches, but not a super heavy cut. Third step is just gonna be a polish. It's gonna be on a black, very fine pad with very fine polish compound. And this thing is just gonna glisten. So anyway, when I was 3 years old, I have a little sister. Okay, she was just born in her crib, sleeping away like babies do. I decided to take her crib apart. So the entire day, my parents couldn't find me. And the reason I know the story is because my mother tells everybody, because she remembers it like it was yesterday. I'm just gonna call it a Saturday. This fine Saturday, she slept all day long. But what I did is I took her crib apart. I don't even think she woke up. I took that thing, every single nut and bolt, completely stripped it apart. It was just like it was my first car. Took that thing down to the bare frame. My parents found me, and rather than spanking me, they forced me to put it back together. Every single nut and bolt, 3 years old. I built my first crib, and I put it all back together as good as a 3-year-old can do. And my mom reminds me of that. So I'm gonna assume that I torqued every bolt correctly and that it was 100% correct. That was my start into my love of taking apart and putting things back together. Every nut and bolt, I thoroughly enjoy it. And I started when I was 3 years old, taking cribs apart. If any of you guys have any cool stories, like of things you did when you were younger, when you had superpowers, like me, drop a comment, let us know. I want to know about your superpowers. All right, it has been a super long day. It's been a long week, long month, whatever you want to call it. We have gotten so much accomplished on the Golden Nugget. We sanded for 850 hours again, and we loved every second of it. Nobody's paying me to do it. I'm doing it because I want to do it. And I think it deserves it. Both sides are all done, hood's done. We got to leave today, holy cow. We got to get this thing done today and get it all the way to Las Vegas. We better get home so we can get back here bright and early and get this thing finished up and get it loaded and taken to Vegas. All right, as always, we appreciate you. If you enjoyed this video, go check out this one. Point.
Lincoln Point.
Lincoln Point.